Welcome to Office Hours. How's it going, Paul?
Good, good. Just a point of notice: if you're watching the countdown timer, you should be watching the one that's in the interview link and not the one that's being broadcast to the thing. Otherwise, you're going to be way behind.
Paul's looking
Two
over
seconds before we
here.
went live, it was like, "Whoa!"
It's that kind of day today because I don't know
Yes,
what part of the world all of you are watching from, but here it's real hot. It's like aggressive. We're under a heat dome apparently, and so I feel like my mind is melted right out of my ears and is gone today. So no bringing any hard questions. This is an easy question
yes.
only. Next hour. No, just
Only
kidding.
cool
Bring all your
questions.
questions. Only
Only cool
cool.
questions.
Only cool questions. And I'm super sad because I brought myself up an iced tea and I was so excited to drink it and it's now gone. So I have no iced tea to get me through. Yeah, Matt says it's hot. Industry Pets is in the US. Yeah, so hot there. And Mark, how is it in the Netherlands, Mark? Are you guys experiencing a lot of crazy heat there?
It's
Yeah.
not too bad. It's warm, but we're not having hot. I mean, north of here, it's much warmer, and we have some major fires burning again. So
Oh, I'm
it's kind of
sorry. Yeah.
adding to the fun and the smog. But
The
it's
fun
been
and the
interesting.
smog. Oh my goodness. Well, we have our first question in. What is hot weather? Martin, you know. That's like when the Scots talk about the rain. They're like, it's raining really hard here. I'm like, is it? Is it raining really hard? So Mark wants to know if he can Zoom us. I did not set that up today, Mark, but I will say, and this is actually a good segue into some of the things we wanted to talk about while we wait for more questions to come on, is that we are making not a lot, but some updates to our shows. And so one of those updates is that we have been doing, I think Doc has done what, 150, 200, something like that, live demos. Every single Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern, Doc is there for probably like 98% of the time. And then, he's the couple times he's on vacation or isn't able to make it, we have our awesome moderators and friends and partners fill in. But what we thought might be helpful, because we have the new Zoom integration, with ecamm.com/Zoom, if you're like, what is that? We thought it might be helpful to actually change the format of that a little bit because of this question that Mark has. So there's going to be people who want to get more hands-on and be able to actually, ask questions and jump into a Zoom chat. So what we're going to be doing starting in July is every other Friday, we will have our regular live demo on YouTube, and that's going to be hosted by all of our friends, our rotating schedule of awesome people to introduce you to some great people. And then Doc on the opposite Fridays is going to do a hands-on, what we're calling Tech Talk. So it's like a hands-on, awesome experience happening in Zoom that will let you really be able to push the buttons and see what it's like to be a Zoom guest and ask all of your technical questions. I'm just going to pull this up so you can see it here. This is look, Tech Talks with Doc Rock. Doesn't he look? He's so happy. He looks really excited in this picture. So any Zoom questions and things like that, I think are going to be great for that. And then again, starting in July, we'll have the full schedule up and ready for you. But I think that's going to be a good opportunity. So sorry, Mark, I should have prepped for that, but I didn't today. But we are having this upcoming. So I think that's going to be really cool. And people like Paul and Val, who I see in the chat, and Daniel and Anna and Fulgens, and we have a great kind of rotating group of folks who are helping out with the live demos. So exciting stuff coming to demos.
Yes, I think it'd be kind of nice because it will give some variety of teaching styles and things like that for everybody to kind of to go with, and then using Doc and his expertise with the tech talks and kind of answering
Yeah.
all those "how do I do this" questions type stuff. So,
And the rule of Tech Talks is going to be you have to turn on your camera, you have to be part of the fam and present. So no drill sergeant mode. No, you're not allowed to be embarrassed because it's in a closed Zoom, so it's all just in the fam. But you have to be able to turn it on and make sure that you're engaging and participating. Mark, we're jealous of your 20 degrees Celsius. I would love that. it's it's 100 Fahrenheit here today. I can't do the math, but I know that that is hot. I know what 20 degrees Celsius feels like, and I know that that's much more pleasant than what I'm currently experiencing.
You've got 20 degrees on us. It's supposed to get about 80 here today,
Yeah. Oh
which
wow.
is hotter than I want to be, but
Yeah. Thank goodness
turn
for air
on the air
conditioning.
conditioning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Oh, greetings from Hotlanta, Stephen. Yeah, the team is on their way out to hang out with Stephen. So, if you are in the Atlanta area or you're traveling to Atlanta in the next little bit, podcastsummit.com. You can use the code ECAM to get a discount. But we're doing something really cool there, actually. So I should take a second and talk about this. Doc and Caleb and Stephen is going to be there as well, and Luis is going to be on site. We're building out these like really cool podcasting nooks. We're going to call them nooks, pods, podcasting pods.
Yeah.
And they 20 of them. So unlike the traditional like expo hall, there's actually just this entire room dedicated to recording video, producing video, podcasting, and they're all equipped with Ecamm. So there's like all these awesome stations for people to be able to practice and get really hands on there. So in addition to like all of the awesome training that people are going to get on site at Podcast Summit, they're also just going to get the opportunity to actually record their show, which is something we've wanted to do for a long time now. And we're just so grateful to David and his team for giving us the opportunity to do that. And we're partnering with our friends at Shure. So it's going to be just this like really incredible space. So podcastsummit.com for those in the Hotlanta area or willing to stay cool. Air conditioned hotel in Atlanta coming up in early July. So it's a really cool opportunity for anyone that is in the area. And again, Ecamm, I believe it's just Ecamm, but if that doesn't work, email me and we'll give you the full details. We'll get you a discount on your ticket there. So, and Paul has been so patient with me. All the Pauls are patient with me. Paul wants to know about Zoom best practices today for participants. Interesting. I will admit to still being a bit of a Zoom novice. I'm still learning alongside all the rest of you. So I don't know if I necessarily have a good list of questions or best
I know
practices.
a couple people are working on some PDF type documents that I'm sure are going to appear fairly soon, kind of going through a lot of the best practices. I know in the Slack channels for the Alpha team and the moderators, we've been talking about different topics and different things, kind of sorting through how to do certain things. And so I think you're going to see that come up fairly quickly and be put out. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's still, a lot of us are still kind of getting our feet wet and trying out different things and like discovering, oh, you can do this, or, if you want to do this, and, so.
Yeah. I will say, and this isn't necessarily an answer to your question, but I just want to throw this out there to everyone that is watching and who's part of the fam. This is different for us, and it opens up the opportunity for you to practice with the fam. So please don't feel as though like it's totally okay for you to set up a Zoom meeting or event or link, whatever level of Zoom you have, and write a little description that says like, hey, I just want to be able to practice some of the Ecamm for Zoom stuff. Drop your link into the community and invite other people to join you. So that's not promotional. We don't see that as like something that's intrusive or unwelcome in the community. That's a great use for the community, is to just say, hey, I need other people on, because this is something that you do kind of need to be able to have other people with you to push buttons and see how it looks to bring guests on and see like what it feels like to be a Zoom participant in the Ecamm for Zoom world, so that you know what kinds of questions your guests and your participants might be thinking of and asking. So similar to the interview mode where we're like, practice, 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 this is a great opportunity to be able to drop the link in. And our moderators and myself, like if we see those pop up, we'll do our best to jump on and help as well, as we're available. So that's a good opportunity to be able to practice. But yes,
And
more resources coming.
And when you're playing around in this, it's really important that you play on both sides of the fence,
Mm-hmm.
that you host a Zoom session,
Mm-hmm.
but that you also are a guest on a Zoom session, so that you understand how that works and how Ecamm comes into play there, because it is a little bit different, and when you use Ecamm for Zoom, you're going to have several windows popping open.
Yep.
You're going to have your Ecamm windows and your Zoom windows
Mm-hmm.
and all this stuff. And I mean, there's lots of discussion going on about, well, if I'm going to join a Zoom meeting, I might as well just join the Zoom meeting. And for me, I look at it as I now have this ability at Ecamm. I have to open Ecamm to join a Zoom meeting anyway, because I want to use my Ecamm camera sources and all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff to do it. To me, it doesn't make sense to then turn around and open Zoom and have that running and, running it that way. I would rather just use Ecamm for Zoom and have it all built into one thing and do it. So,
Mm-hmm.
there's been debates and discussions, people are on both sides of the fence, but that's kind of where I stay. And I think it's important to try out both sides and understand what it's going to be like for you as a host to do it, but
Mm-hmm.
also what your guests are going to go through. That one advantage to it is 95% of the world knows how to use Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
Most people around have done a Zoom meeting because of the pandemic and all that stuff. So
Yep.
you're ahead of the ball game there. And it's as a guest, it's not too different, but as a guest coming through Ecamm, it's a little different.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the experience would be, it's only kind of, maybe jarring is not the right word, but it different or surprising to someone if you're
Yep.
pulling them into this kind of environment, right? So if you've designed, overlays and you have kind of this world that's not familiar to a Zoom person, right? So if
Yep.
you've only been, you're like, wait, what, like where have I moved now? Why am I in both these places? So I think probably some stuff around that. But yeah, I think best practices where we certainly have a lot of kind of case studies and resources and best practices and things that we're creating over the summer that will make sure that we get out to people. But
Yeah. Yeah, and there's still little tweaks happening because we've discovered a few things, and some people have had some ideas about, could it do this? Could you do this? And so you're going to see, more little additions coming through here,
yeah,
in the coming weeks and months, stuff like that. But it's like Ecamm is, it's ever changing. We're always adding something new. Zoom may make a change and we have to adapt to that. But yeah, play with it. Play with
mm-hmm.
it coming in as a Zoom, a Zoom client itself, see what that looks like. What I usually do is I have a laptop. I bring out my MacBook, I start a Zoom session. I'll call Valerie usually, get her on the phone, and then I have my laptop going at the same time. So I'm getting to see the different things that happen
Views.
and
Yeah,
how the
mm-hmm.
different interactions happen.
Yeah,
So use your phone too. See what that works like.
yeah,
Just try everything. Push buttons.
yeah, absolutely. I'm looking at this question coming in. I'm making sure I'm understanding this question correctly. Is it possible to toggle the update notification at the end of your session instead of the beginning? When I launch Ecamm, it's usually because I'm about to use it and I don't want to update. Oh, okay. I see what you mean. So like if there's a new update coming out. That's a great question. I'd have to take that one back to Ken and Glenn. That's outside. That's outside my pay grade.
Yeah,
But I will
I
definitely
don't.
suggest it.
Yeah, I don't know because basically Ecamm goes out and does a check to kind of see if there is an update.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of a timing thing. So there, a lot of times when we release an update, you don't necessarily see it when you go into the application. You have to like request it, check for
Yeah, check
update.
for updates. Yeah.
But if that pops up, just say not now.
Yeah.
Just say
Mm-hmm.
no, and then you can. When you're done, you can either restart Ecamm and it will pop up again, or
Mm-hmm.
when you're done, just do check for updates and it will update when your show's over. You just because that pops up, you don't have to click the button and say update.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You have a choice.
Absolutely. I'm looking at all these temperatures. 92, 107. Please stay inside on the weekend, Paul. That crank the air
Yeah,
conditioning.
keep that over in the Central Valley area, away from
Oh my
away from the
goodness.
Bay Area.
Goodness. Well, 74 in LA, so that's good to hear, Val. And Matt is asking a good question. We get this question a lot. I wish I had a better answer for you. I agree that there are a lot of services that are growing in popularity. It's something that the guys are aware of, and I don't want to say we're like deprioritizing streaming stuff, but so if you think about it from our bigger picture roadmap, so we just finished doing all the Zoom stuff, and now there's like smaller Zoom updates we're making now that it's been out to the public for a little bit. And then from here, the next set of features that the guys have been looking at are a lot of the what we call first run features. So it's things like adding in like more templates and making the features more accessible and obvious. So like making it clearer for people who are newer to understand like what a scene is, what an overlay is, how they work together, to help people who are jumping in who maybe are not, not live streamers or not comfortable with tools like Ecamm, to just make that process simpler. So I would say that probably on the other side of that will be the time where we circle back and say, okay, what are we now missing on the live streaming side? What are the newest platforms that have come out? What are the updates that we need to make there? It's a lot. There's a lot of moving pieces to keep up with, right? So right now we go out to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, LinkedIn, so and then multi-streaming obviously to all of those places. So Instagram. So it's a number of things to kind of keep tabs on. So I agree. I think it's worth keeping an eye on, and it's not that we're not paying attention to it. It's not as high a priority as some of the things that we've been working on at the moment. Yeah, Mark, best practice is to learn the signal flow. Absolutely. Yeah, right, Hank, we all need to practice. I need to practice. So you will see me in the Facebook group. I feel like by and large, in my day-to-day, I'm almost never in a Zoom meeting that has more than like 4 people. And usually the Zoom meetings that I'm in are like casual conversations where we're brainstorming projects we're working on, or we're like, it's not like a formal thing where I would need to step it up with Ecamm. So for me, it's difficult to wrap my head around like what the use cases are and where some of the pain points would be, because it's not something that I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. Whereas I'm live streaming and I'm podcasting and I'm recording videos in Ecamm all the time. So I know like where weird things come up, and I understand a lot of the questions that you have in that space. Yeah. Zoom is definitely newer for me in that I'm like a bare bones lowest level user. So I've attended, obviously I've like been a participant in a number of different, pretty busy, crazy, large webinars and events and things like that. But I need a lot of practice in that space too. So yeah, good place to practice. Hello, welcome. Yeah, right. Using Zoom same. I'm the same, Mark. Using Zoom just works the best for me. Yeah, it's nice as a participant. All right, John, send over all of those feature suggestions. Yep, the guys are taking a look at everything that comes through. So if you are not yet, make sure that you're in the beta testing group, and that could be either in Discord or that could be in the Facebook group. So if you go ecamm.com/beta, you'll find all the information out, and that's the place to make suggestions and try the latest version of what we're testing and what we're building out. So good place.
Yeah, and also if you go to ecamm.com/communities, you're going to see all the Discord groups, the Facebook group, all the different places that you can interact with us.
Over here. So ecamm.com/community, and that's a good answer to this question. So is there an official Discord for Ecamm? Oh, what happened to my comment? What happened to my comment? Oh no. Hang on while I'm officially distracted. Yes, there is a Discord for Ecamm. So again, you can get to it by going ecamm.com/community, and that's where you'll find all of our stuff, including like, let me just toggle this on, including like our YouTube channel, the shows that we have going on, which we'll talk about in a second, and then our newsletter. So we've been really trying to give as much helpful information as we possibly can in our newsletter. Every week it goes out. So this is a good spot, just a good home base for finding everything, right? So there's our demo, there's the information on the challenge and on our advanced trainings. It's a good place to find everything /community.
Yeah, then we've also started every Monday morning at 8 o'clock Pacific time, a ENN news flash drops, and it's a short little snippet of some things that are going on and items that are going to be covered in ENN that evening.
Yep.
So that's another good source to check, and hopefully that's been helping people.
Yeah, absolutely. Gordon asks a great question. Let me just swing back over here where I can see it better. Oh, wait, no, here. Too many things. Gordon says, I'm trying to conference with 4K screen sharing and low latency. Is there another solution I can use Ecamm with for higher resolution? Are you using Ecamm for Zoom or just Ecamm? Is, I guess, my first question. And then if you're on the pro level of Ecamm, you should be able to access 4K recording. The screen sharing, if you're just in Ecamm, should be at the highest level. If you're mixing Ecamm with Zoom, then it matters what Zoom level you're on.
Yeah,
So
he clarified that question a little further down.
oh, great. Sorry, I'm behind on my comments.
Gordon, with the drawback with Zoom is, as a standard customer, it's your resolution is going to be very low. It's like it's
Mm-hmm.
not even 720. If you have a paid plan, you can request to be upgraded to 720,
Mm-hmm.
and that will help you. If you have a business plan, you can get to 1080,
Mm-hmm.
but there's not really 4K available in Zoom for streaming purposes or broadcasting purpose. The best you can get to is 1080,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to be on a business paid plan, and business plans require 10 people on your account.
Mm-hmm.
A paid plan you can get up to like I said, 720. It's not too bad. I mean, you do have some issues. Latency is always going to kind of be a thing. It's like right now, if I'm looking at the direct connection I have with Katie for the interview,
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing pretty much live time, but the actual stream is 15 to 20 seconds behind what
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing, you know, in this live session. So there's always going to be some amount of latency in it. So depending on what you're looking at or what you're dealing with, uh, will depend.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. So again, it's worth playing with, and there is an article. So if we go over to here, so if we go over to support.ecamm.com, so this is what it looks like over here. And then if you scroll here, you can see this Ecamm for Zoom articles. And then I believe here, video resolution. There's an entire article all about like everything you need to know about participant video resolution and how it's affected, as well as like information on how to contact Zoom, as Paul was saying, to get different results there. So definitely something to keep an eye on there. Support.ecamm.com will get you back over there. And
And
yeah, Val's
Valerie
posted
just
this here.
posted in
Yeah.
chat the actual resolutions that are available at the different levels. So
Mm-hmm.
thank you, Valerie.
Yeah, so it is really important actually to keep in mind that Zoom, like every piece of software was initially developed for a specific reason and then has updated since then, right? So we started as a live streaming platform, and we were, initially just for Facebook Live, and we have grown since then. Whereas Zoom initially began as an opportunity for people to just have conversations back and forth together. So their original focus was not on a high resolution. They did not care about the resolution of the conversation. They were literally just trying to be able to connect it so you could see each other and you could facilitate a meeting or a conversation. And so as they've gotten, bigger, and they've started working with tools like Ecamm and other video production tools, and people started caring a lot more about the resolution, that that addition is something that they've had to consider. They've had to consider like what that costs them as a business, and what part of those costs they're willing to eat versus charge forward to the customer, right? So they're thinking about that. But again, you got to keep in mind that like they have a free level plan, and the goal of that plan is literally just to connect people to have a conversation. So they don't consider that to be a need for a high resolution. They are assuming that if you need a resolution as high as you would in like even the Ecamm standard plan, that you're doing something that is, generating enough money to be able to sustain the cost of their higher level plans. So
Yep.
it's not impossible, but worth noting the different levels.
Yeah.
There are also companies out there. We talked. We'll start surfacing more resources as we start having more conversations. But there are companies out there who are very aware of the fact that there are a lot of individual entrepreneurs and solopreneurs and people who can't afford these higher level plans, and they have options for being able to access some of these Zoom features in like shared plans or ways that you can be able to work around it a little bit. Just if you're considering doing that, make sure that you keep in mind not to break any of Zoom's terms and conditions and service agreements and things like that. But
Yep.
worth noting that there are options, and I think more and more options coming out, and Zoom's certainly aware of issues related to resolution. So it's not something that they're ignoring. They're working their way through it. Mark notes also there's a 45-minute max on Zoom's lowest tier, right? Because it's free. So they're making it just so that it's enough to be able to use at a very basic level to tease you into moving up their levels. That's their goal as a business.
I mean, you look
Um,
at what Facebook is doing too. You know,
mhm,
Facebook is putting more and more. They've taken the ability to easily stream into a Facebook group without
yeah,
having to, RTMP now. And
yep,
then they just recently introduced the thing that to have a channel, to be able to stream, you have to have a channel that's at least 6 months old, and you have to
mm-hmm.
have 100
100. Yeah.
followers on that channel. And I understand where they're going with this, but a lot of us use a kind of a private fake channel to
Mm-hmm.
do some testing in, so it's not getting broadcast out to our groups and stuff like that.
Yep.
And now we've lost that ability.
Mm-hmm.
So companies are kind of looking at the bottom line and what it costs to be able to provide
Mm-hmm.
this service. And are they doing anything? Are you contributing back to them enough to generate income for them to be able to offer you the service? So it's
Yeah.
becoming a trade-off.
Yeah, and also I think in particularly with companies like Facebook, they're also looking ahead to November election season and the amount of trolls and spam and weirdness that's
Yep.
happening, and so they're like, if you think about it
They're
from their perspective, they also care a lot about like the security and the kind of content people are creating and have access to be sharing across a huge platform, right? So, um
they're all trying to protect themselves, and
absolutely.
everybody else so they don't get, sued or whatnot. It's going to
Exactly.
be an interesting time.
It'll be an interesting time as it always is. I don't have an answer yet about VidCon. I'm probably not. VidCon and is it Vid Summit, right? Those are the ones that happen in the fall. They're pretty close to our Creator Camp event, and so they are a little bit difficult for us to get out to. Not to say that we won't be there, and it's certainly worth asking if like other Ecamm fam members are going to go. That's a great question for like the community or the Discord. Just because we're not necessarily there as internal team members doesn't mean that there's not going to be like Ecamm fam on the ground there to meet up with and to spend time with. That's a awesome event, and one of these years I will see if we can get out there. It always just seems to be at a hard time of year for us, but
Yeah.
yep, this Martin has a great point here. The ability to custom design your own Zoom meetings with your branding, yeah, is a really great reason to be using Ecamm for Zoom. And again, let me swing over. Let me close this one and
And
swing over
and with that being said,
here.
if you are in Zoom sessions or anything like that, you're using Ecamm for Zoom in front of people that may not have ever heard of that
Mm-hmm,
that become very impressed with what you're doing.
mm-hmm.
I highly, 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 highly recommend that you join the affiliate program that Ecamm has,
Yep.
so that when you start referring these people and they say, "How did you do that?" You can say, "Oh, Ecamm." Give them a
Mm-hmm.
link, and you'll get some. Um, a little kickback on them signing up. You get 30% of whatever they pay, whether it be monthly or an annual thing. And those can add up. You can get some pretty decent, you can pay for your annual Ecamm fee
Mm-hmm.
through the affiliate program
Mm-hmm.
just by referring other people.
Here it is. So you can become an Ecamm affiliate. Shout out to Caleb who just updated this entire flow, so it's actually way easier now. But you can sign up, and all we want, I mean, basically the only restriction I guess we have is that we do want you to be an active Ecamm user, which I'm sure all of you are hanging out here with us on this stream. But we want, obviously we're looking for people that can speak to the experience and can be authentic and real with people that they're recommending the tool to. So that's basically it as far as guidelines go. And it takes seconds to get up and running and signing. 30% commission, and we do have a higher level tier. So once you have hit 50 subscriptions, it automatically bounces you into the higher level tier, which gives you 40%, and that's a recurring payment for the life of the subscription. So
And the only
it's a
requirement to
pretty
get that
good.
40% forever is being an Ecamm customer. If you unbecome an Ecamm customer, then you lose it.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. All right, I'm gonna swing back over. We got lots of people jumping on. I love it. We're here back to comments. Thanks to Martin for putting these awesome graphics together for us. It makes it so much easier to be able to flow through. I see Johnny hanging out. I saw Luis popping on.
everybody's coming in.
Yeah, hey everyone. Late to the party. No worries. Always welcome. Always welcome. See Neil hanging out here. Yeah, Steven, as Steven says, there's a lot of AI platforms that come online. Yeah. You have to
Yep.
watch the usage. I'm with you, Roy. Why would anyone not be a customer of Ecamm? What's wrong with all of you people? I love it. Yeah, who knows? Who knows why people may unbecome may unbecome an Ecamm customer? Val, I already
All
told you
those.
it's so hot that my brain is melted out through my ears and is on the floor. I can't keep up with all of these double negatives. All right. Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about shows. So do me a favor if you're hanging out with us today. We have been trying to evaluate our shows and our show schedules. So just as a reminder, and I wish I had pulled scenes up for this, but so we currently have a number of different shows. So let me go through the week so that everyone is aware of our shows. Let me swing over here to I'm going to swing over to the community here. So ecamm.com/community. That'll take you to our community page. So Monday evenings, we have ENN, which is our news show that's hosted by Anna and Fulgens. And that one gives you all of the information on like what's happening in the world of Ecamm. And that's tied to our newsletter. So you see it down here, our newsletter. So our newsletter and our news flashes that are going at the beginning of the week, this is our way to communicate with you as Ecamm fams. So if you are not signed up for the newsletter, either on LinkedIn or through our email tool, which is here on the site, or watching ENN, you might be missing a bunch of news because that's our news show. So that one happens throughout the year, Monday evenings. Tuesday, we have a video podcast that Doc and I co-host. It's called The Flow. And that one has been on break for the last little bit and is coming back in July. So we'll be back talking about podcasting. So that, again, that's Tuesdays in the midday. Wednesday, we have this show once a month. So we have Office Hours. I've also been doing a show called Meet the Fam, where we've been bringing you all on to introduce you out to everyone. Thursdays, we have Marshall Creates, which our amazing designer, Marshall Fox, takes you through like all aspects of building out a show and designing a show. Oop, I forgot when. Wednesday is Building Blocks, which is on break right now, but is coming back here shortly. That's another Anna and Fulgens, but that's hands-on, being able to build out a show. So like all of the actual building blocks you need to run an Ecamm production, whatever that is, whether it's a live show or a podcast or a webinar or whatever. Friday, we have the demo, which I just said is updating to a slightly different format. And we just added in Spanish language demos, which I'm really excited by. And then on Sunday evenings, we have the stream show with DJ Strick, which is all about live streaming and features a lot of awesome people. So we have a pretty full show schedule. So what I would love to poll you on as you're hanging out with us and watching here is, are you aware of all of the shows? So a couple questions. Are you aware of all the shows that we have? And which are your favorites? We're curious as to whether or not we should have seasons, like what, kind of coming and going, or if people all have a different favorite show. So they're, happy with just tuning into the shows that they want. We're making sure that the content is working for all of you. So let us know what you think about our shows and the kind of regular consistency of them and what you like and don't like about them. And if you're watching this later, drop it in a comment or email us marketing@ecamm.com. We'd just love to hear more about your thoughts and feelings on shows.
And this year we did something different. As Katie said, we looked at seasons. So we had shows that were on at the first quarter, and then like The Flow and Building Blocks stopped at the end of the quarter, the first quarter, and then Marshall came back on and all that stuff. And so do you like that concept? Part of the thing that we thought is we were giving you too much information. There were too many shows to pick from, and we were overloading you with information. But is that really how you feel? Do you like that concept, or would you prefer to see certain things longer? Let us know what you think, what your shows are.
Absolutely. All right. Well, while
Because we're also looking at, are we doing too much, and do we maybe need to trim back and get, are there some shows that maybe we should get rid of that aren't really serving the purpose or reaching out? So, we're looking at lots of things, and so we need your help.
Yeah. And again, you comment here, while you're hanging out with us, comment later on this video, or you can always email us, marketing@ecamm.com. We're happy to hear your feedback there. We'll be sending more kind of polls and surveys as it goes forward, but always happy to hear your feedback on what you like and what you don't like, what you wish we had, what you wish we didn't have, everything in between. Gordon asks, will Ecamm consider integrating DRM to encrypt video? Many businesses may need to protect their content. I don't have an answer to that. I haven't heard that question come up a lot, but I could certainly pass that along to Ken and Glenn. That's a worthwhile feature request or information to pass along. Good question. Yeah, especially with
And,
the Zoom stuff, it might become more of an issue going forward.
and a great place to put the feature request is in the beta group uh,
Mm-hmm.
that we check. And the other thing with when you ask for something, you can just ask for it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to have a purple people leader pop up when I turn on Ecamm.
Mm-hmm.
But if you give a kind of a use case why you want
Yeah,
that,
why or what you're
or if
using.
there is something that is causing you grief when you use Ecamm or you try to do something in Ecamm, the guys love those kinds of things because they
Mm-hmm.
instantly clap, and they come up with ways that it can make it easier. So when you ask for something new, that's the thing to do. And then also they have to kind of look at, how many people is this really going to help? Are we going to spend all this time creating this and it's only going to be good for a handful of people, or is a lot of people interested? So just because somebody may have asked for something doesn't mean you shouldn't kind of like throw your 2 cents into the pot too and let them know that there's a lot of people out there that might want this.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm. I love it. I love hearing that you've
Great.
launched your ship. That's amazing. Well, share your updates and let us know, how we can help. You can always hang out with us in our communities. Again, ecamm.com/community. That'll get you all the info on where we're at and how we, and how what everyone's up to and spaces to practice and get to know everyone better. It would be great to get to know you better. So I am not a Spanish speaker. I grew up in Montreal, so French is okay. Spanish, not okay at all. So I was just really thrilled that they were willing to take that on. And we have Luis and India who are also kind of in that rotation of hosts. So we're going to be doing a Spanish language Q&A once a month. And we've been working on all kinds of different additional Spanish resources. So more to come there. But yeah, let us know. I was amazed at how many, not, I guess I'm not amazed. I was happy to see how many people were on and engaging and how many views that video continues to get. So it's great. Mark, this is just air conditioning systems. Sorry for the saw sounds. We can't turn them off. It's too hot here. It's too hot. Val says thumbs up for all the shows. They're amazing. 3 more thumbs. Yeah. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear. Glad to hear it. A vote for seasons. I like seasons. Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny. We were really intentional with what shows had seasons. So ENN is a new show, so that one we didn't do seasons for, but we did do a season for Building Blocks, Marshall Creates, The Flow, and the Stream Show. We didn't do it for the live demo, obviously, because that's a little bit less of a show and more of just like a regular training. So yeah, it's. I think seasons and breaks are a good idea. It's felt kind of long. Like feels like it maybe have felt long, but that could just be me. So yeah, let me know.
Yeah, and some of
Although it
them,
can be
it's
real.
kind of
Yeah.
like, I've wondered if 3 months is too long.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe do seasons, but shorten it down a little bit. Maybe a 1 month break or something like that. But yeah, this is something we're playing with just to
Mm-hmm.
kind of see, how it worked in that.
I love these. I don't watch TV. I watch Ecamm. I love it.
The other thing that we try to do
Yeah.
is when we do workshops, we basically don't do all the extra shows like the
Yeah.
the
We pause
flow
the shows. Yeah.
or Marshall building blocks. That we pause those for that week,
Mm-hmm.
um, so that you have time to focus on the workshops and all that stuff without the other stuff going on. So we've tried that this year too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there you go. New but loving all the shows, catching up on old episodes of many of them. Yeah, we do try it. Paul does a really great job of going through and like unlisting or removing videos if they're really like if they're outdated or old content. So the stuff that's still up there by and large is still relevant and hopefully helpful for everyone. So that's good to hear.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of back end going through checking stuff. We've gotten rid of, we've archived a lot of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
um, but there's still some stuff out there that we're looking at. We flagged as it needs to be updated,
Mm-hmm.
or we're still going through and kind of cleaning up. So it is something that we're actively working on, but
Mm-hmm.
we try to keep it fresh.
Yeah, absolutely. Neil says second vote for seasons. Awesome. For people that like seasons, how long do you think a season break? Actually, Neil, this is a great question for you since you also host a show. How long is your season? How long are your seasons, and how long is your break in between seasons? I'm just curious on the format. Paul, this is a great question. We've played with this for a while, and the answer is we don't have the show schedule posted on our website. It is available at all points here on YouTube. So if you go to our YouTube channel, you'll see we have like new this week, and then we email it out in our newsletter, and we have those little like news clips. So if you go over to here, ecamm.com/community, you'll see we do have like the link directly to our YouTube, and then we do list a couple of the shows. We don't list all of them, but we do have a few of the shows there, and then the newsletter sign up. It was just getting hard we use Ad Event and a couple other tools, but it was confusing people. So this seemed like the lowest lift.
The other thing that we do too is in the YouTube channel, there is a upcoming videos list, and basically our week starts Sunday and goes through that Friday, and then on Thursdays or Fridays we get all the new shows for the following week scheduled. So if you ever go into that, you're going to see all the shows for the week listed. Sometimes, like if you looked at it right now, you'll see the ones for the upcoming workshop that we're doing out loud, the
creating out loud,
the improv. So you'll see the upcoming shows always in there, and then like I said, there's usually a week's worth of information added in there so you can kind of see what's coming up. So that's another good place to check.
On that front, I should say, so this is Creating Out Loud. This workshop is running next week, and it's worth showing you all. I'm looking forward to this one. This is going to be a really different one, and I am reluctantly volunteering myself to be, so I'm the reluctant co-host on this one. Scott is like an incredible comedian. He is an improv genius, and he's bringing along a couple friends for this one. We're really just going to talk about how forcing yourself out of your comfort zone and using a lot of the techniques that they use in improv and in comedy are going to help you become a better video presenter. And that could be for a podcast, for a show, for a webinar, for a virtual presentation where you're the speaker, all aspects of it. So this is a really like different workshop for us, and a really hopefully fun and engaging one, and will put us all a little bit out of our comfort level, but I think it's going to be really great. So this runs next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at noon every day. If you go to ecamm.com/loud, you will see this page that we have right next to us. Registration, as always, is free, and if you register, we'll give you those reminders so that you know what's upcoming. But it's going to be a lot of fun. Gary Ware and Adam Rudder are joining us as well. Gary is like, don't tell Scott and Adam, but I love Gary. I love Gary. He's like the friendliest, nicest person. So safe space. These three are going to make it really like a fun, safe space. And just, we're going to cover again 3 days. We're going to cover all aspects of, understanding how play and being silly and comedy and some of the techniques that they use in improv can really make a big difference. So shout out for that one.
I really look forward to this one.
Yeah, I think it's going to be
This is going to push my comfort zone.
Same. I'm like, I did years of theater, but the idea of improv, I'm just like, scary, 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 scary. But I'm doing it. So if I'm doing it, I hope that some of you show up and join me for it, because I think it'll be a lot of fun. The
thing about theater is you can hide behind a character. When you're live streaming, it's you.
Well, I guess you could make like a persona of yourself, or you could think about it in a different way.
I've always been in awe of people that can just be crazy and not think about it.
Yeah, seriously. Okay, Neil says 3 months on, 3 months off. That's what we've been doing. So yeah, maybe we should double down on that. Thanks, Neil. I appreciate the feedback. Dwayne is hanging out, says glad to be an Ecamm user. I tell everyone I show up in spaces where people are interested in leveling up their videos. Make sure you're signed up as an affiliate if you're not already. Again, that's just a really great opportunity. Affiliates.ecamm.com. All of you should be affiliates. It's low threshold, just so you have it, to be able to let people know. Yeah, it's not a roast. Next week is not a roast. This is improv training. No, we're not going to be mean to anyone. It'll be as safe a space as we can make it, while also forcing us a little bit out of our comfort zone. Gordon says, "Oh, thanks, Gordon. We appreciate that." So yeah. We've been thinking through the format of this show as well. So like, is this helpful? You know, we do a lot of live streams. Like, is it just one more where you feel like it's the same people on? Let us know about it. Follow up. I'm an Apple developer creating new AI for trading the Forex market. Awesome. That requires 4K and needs to be real time. That's a good question. Would we ever consider our own conference solution? I'm going to say probably not, because I feel like it's bigger than it would be a pretty big thing for us to work on given the size of our team and our focus and sort of who we are as a company. But that's not to say that there might not be, like, there may be solutions that wouldn't have us needing to build out our own conference solution. So why don't, you know what, Gordon, why don't, if you want to drop me an email, katie@ecamm.com or marketing@ecamm.com, I'm happy to chat a little bit more with you and get some of your ideas out in front of Ken and Glenn, because I hear where you're coming from, and I'm sure there's probably some smart workarounds or some ideas, or maybe Ken and Glenn have some suggestions as well. So yeah. And thanks, Val. Yeah, ecamm.com/loud. We're creating out loud next week. Val's scared. I'm scared. Val, we're going to be all scared together. Come be scared. Scott was like, you need to co-host. I was like, oh, do I though? Do I? Maybe I'll just. So yeah.
I've kind of committed myself to jump off the cliff.
Yeah.
And,
bring a friend.
you know,
It's free. Bring a friend. It's like, it's a little bit, it's a lunch break every day, to come and just shake it off a bit. And if you're going to be all in the chat, so less scary for you. So you jot down some notes and ideas. Watch me be scared publicly. feel the vibe. Awesome. I love it when people are registering. That's great. Yeah. Tell your friends. You don't have to be an Ecamm customer to participate. So like any friends who just this would be helpful for, or colleagues and coworkers, all that. Everyone's welcome. So safe space for all of your PC loving friends. Oh my gosh. All right. If you jump off the cliff, can Val have your computers and monitors?
yeah, you have to take Maestro though too. Maestro's part of the deal.
Oh no, Maestro needs snuggles. I'm scrolling through. We talked about all this stuff. Oh well, we should show. We should put Val's head on Paul there. This is our merch. So, and we've added a few things recently. So if you haven't been to the merch shop, merch.ecamm.com, we have these awesome new pillows. We have kids t-shirts, which was a big ask. So if you have kids or you are very tiny, you can wear these kids t-shirts. We have new travel mugs with handles and water bottles, sunglasses. I still love these joggers. They're not really new anymore, but I just think they're so fun. Yeah, Paul's got his. I haven't ordered my water bottle yet, but they're awesome. They're Camelback water bottles, which are great. It's still Pride. I know I'm continuing Pride right until the end of July because it's been too busy for me to properly celebrate. But if you want to properly celebrate with us, Paul's been saying he loves his enamel mug. So there's enamel mugs, t-shirts, pillows, a water bottle. And we're always like, so we use this tool called Fourth Wall. If you have not used, yes, Ecamm Coffee, right? If you have not used Fourth Wall and you are a business owner, seriously, it is free. It takes minutes to set up. And it lets you just have a lot of fun. So if you're like, I don't want to give you any more money, I get it. We give away a ton of this stuff often on a lot of the shows we were just talking about. So if you're like, I don't have money right now, but this stuff looks really cool, join us for ENN, join us for any or all of our shows, and we often will give this away. We're going to be doing more giveaways on our Instagram as well. So, but just wanted you to know there's lots of new stuff, and if we're missing anything, Mr. Moderator has a YouTube blocked word list. So if you're on YouTube, this is a great thing to check out and consider. But yeah, if we're missing anything from the shop, let us know. We're happy to add things in, but merch.
Fourth Wall's really great too, because if you're like doing some sort of a family event or a reunion or anything like that, or even if you just want to make a shirt for yourself, Fourth Wall is great because it doesn't cost you anything. You just basically, it's on demand. So when you order it, that's when the charges hit. So you can order stuff yourself at cost. And basically you just pay the fee to them, the base cost of the stuff and shipping. It's great because I made a t-shirt. I took a logo and I put my affiliate link underneath it. and it's only available to me, so it's a great thing. I've made stuff for
Hmm.
my shows, the Q colons and all that
Yeah.
type of stuff. So it's a great thing to do, and you can make a few little bucks here and there off of it too. But
I will send you coffee. Email me at marketing@ecamm.com. We have coffee left, so definitely email me. I'm happy to send you a free bag of coffee. Welcome to the Ecamm fam.
yes,
We are nearing the end of our time. It always goes by really fast. It never ceases to amaze me. An hour in a meeting feels like an eternity, and an hour live streaming is like, I guess it depends on who you're hanging out with, right? If we had this group in a meeting, it would make a difference. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I've been doing a series on, let me just do this really quickly. Let me shrink down my comments a little bit. Last call for questions. I've been doing these hidden feature videos and like graphics and reminders. I just wanted to show you really quick the one that I was doing today. So again, if you're new to Ecamm or you haven't been into the preferences in a while, Ecamm Live up here in the top, and then go over here to preferences. Okay, this is where I always have like too many windows in the way. Let me close all my windows. Let me whoop down there. Okay, so over here in the recording menu, so this is all the isolated recording stuff, which is great. If you want to get separate tracks for everything, this is the place to do it. But make sure, if you don't already, and you're recording files, that you have these two things turned on and ready to go. Record only prompt for file name, and you can choose when the recording starts or when it ends. And what that's going to do is pop up a little box when you get started or when you're ending your recording that prompts you and forces you to name the file. And this is super helpful for finding the file later, making sure you have the correct file, identifying it, file management. Big deal. Please do this if you're not already doing it, because it really does make a big difference. Saves me a ton of time. And it just reminds you every single time, because people like me get hot and all the brain slips out and then you need a reminder. So this is your reminder. And then I don't know if anyone, most of you probably already have this turned on, but just a reminder that there is a little mini countdown. And this is a feature I'm pretty sure Michael Hyatt asked us for, as well as Pat Flynn and some other huge names in marketing. And really all it does is it does a 3, 2, 1 countdown before it starts recording. This is like life-changing if you're recording videos. So make sure that you have this checked on. But these are the two that are my kind of hidden features of the week, and I think really go a super long way. So those are my last shout out over there. Let me swing out a live demo mode. All right. Ask and you shall receive. Very true. My pleasure, Stephen. And hopefully Atlanta gets a lot cooler over the next little bit.
yes.
I doubt it, but here's hoping. You can stay cool. Stay cool anyway. I'm sorry, Jim. Did I miss your question? I didn't. I definitely didn't mean to. Will there be any tutorials on how to use Zoom webinar with Ecamm? Yes. So we've been working really closely with Daniel. So Daniel is one of our moderators. He is like an incredible production genius. He's in our community and in our Discord. So if you have any like specific questions on this in the interim, Daniel Chi, CHI, he is the person to find in our Discord or in our community, and just ask the questions directly. He's like an open book. He's happy to answer any of these. But we are working on an entire workshop on like how to produce higher level Zoom workshops, webinars, huge live events, kind of the next level up. So this is a more advanced training for people that are really comfortable in Ecamm already. But that should answer a bunch of those questions, because it's definitely not me. I can't help with all of that. So Daniel is our go-to on that one.
Daniel has done Zoom sessions with tens of thousands of people and multiple Zoom sessions and stuff like that. So he is the absolute expert in that area.
He is not messing around. Yeah, and George says, it would be awesome. So yes, but let us know, like Jim and George and anyone else who this is helpful for. Again, like drop comments in the community or just send me a direct email. But like, what aspects of it would be the most helpful? Because again, we're finalizing what that outline looks like. So let us know if there's anything specific. I think we have a pretty good understanding of what people are trying to accomplish and what's possible within the app. But if there's anything specific that you want included in it, now's a good time, because we're still in the planning phase of it. So a good time to be able to ask and get that help. Oh, I forgot to say, I'm going to swing back over here. Do do do. Stream profiles. This whole show was created by the one and only Martin. He was hanging out in the chat. So if he's still in the chat, he should jump on and share his link. But you can grab any of these kinds of profiles. Martin works really hard for all kinds of graphics to create all kinds of graphics that are really easy to use in Ecamm. So if you're like me and have no design skills whatsoever, this is a really great way to get started. I'm just going to grab the link
And
here.
he does some pretty cool little backgrounds and layouts and stuff like that. He's got some really neat stuff out of the box thinking.
He does. So, and he offers a lot of stuff for free or really reduced prices. So streamprofiles.selfie, SELLFY.store will get you over here. There's lots of, I will say Martin does an incredible job with this. Paul Dixon is another one who does a great job with this. He's from Live Streaming Pros. They sell a bunch of different cool graphics. On and Fulgence have a bunch of them. So there's lots of people, if you're like, oh, I don't know where to get started and I just want something cool looking. if you just want to be able to buy something and edit and tweak it to make it your own, these are all great resources for you. And then last question, because then I got to jump. Paul says, yes. Yeah, Daniel would be a good resource for that. And then I don't know,
He's
Paul,
working on that.
Yeah, I don't know if you watch this or not. Other Paul Kelly. But Kat Mulvihill did an entire workshop for us called Professional Presence, and she shared a lot of like best practices and things as part of that workshop. So that might be a good one to watch or rewatch if you're looking for those. But I hear you. I know I owe you a bunch of stuff. Where I promise you, we're working on a bunch of that stuff. I just haven't quite.
Yeah, and we added when Ecamm for Zoom came out, we added another session, kind of a video in that whole series that Kat did.
Yeah,
focusing on Ecamm for Zoom. So if you saw it and you didn't see that one, you may want to go back to the playlist on YouTube and check it out.
Absolutely. Well, from all of us here on East and West Coast, stay very cool. be very cool. Get a little out of your comfort zone with us next week. And we'll see you back again next month.
Have a good one.
Bye, Paul. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Take care, everybody.